Hey, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for all the love and likes on my last video, and thanks for subscribing to this channel. So today we're going to learn how to cut the basic abaya. Yay! Our basic abaya is such that it will be the basis for all other abayas that comes after this. So what are the measurements that are required? You require your gown length, which I stated here as GL, your bust measurement, your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your sleeve measurement, your back measurement, your sleeve round, and your armhole measurement. So how to determine the amount of fabrics that you need: you multiply your hip measurement by 2, or you multiply by 1.5, depending on how wide you want it to be. But for this project, I'm going to be multiplying by hip measurement by 2, so that because I want the abaya to be wide. So first of all, you have to add 4 inches to all your circumference measurement, your bust measurement, your hip measurement, your waist measurement. So let's get into it. So first, here is the gown length 58, the bust is 32, the back is 14, the waist is 24, the hip is 36, and that's what we're going to be working with. The first thing you want to do is to get your desired amount of fabric. In this case, I got 72 inches. I folded it into 2. Then you fold it into 2. So like I would normally do, this is a mock-up of what you should do. So you should have your fabric folded in 4 places. So I have mine folded in 4 places: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these vertical lines that you see here are the bust line measurement, the waistline measurement, and the hip line measurement. The one in the beginning here is where you start taking your measurements from. So first thing you want to do is to take your back measurement and divide it by 2. So our back measurement is 14, and I dividing it by 2, I'm getting 7. So I'm marking 7 inches. I'm dividing it by 2, I'm marking 7 inches. Now you come down by 1 inch for your shoulder slope, because our shoulder is not entirely straight, and you need that slope to help your clothes fit properly. So now you take the neck measurement. I use a standard neck width of 3 by 1 for the back and 3 by 5 for the front. This is actually 3 by 1. Let me recap: 3 by 1 for the back and 3 by 5 for the front. You can go deeper, or you can go depending on how you want it to be, but this is the standard that I set for myself. So from that point, you slope the shoulder slope, and then you go like that. Yes, from the neck region to the shoulder slope. Now the next thing that you want to do is to divide your bust measurement by 4, and divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it, which is what I'm going to do here. So bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, so I approximated it and I got 7 inches. That's the calculation. You can pause it to see it properly, but that's the calculation. I just gave it an approximation of 7 inches. That's what gives you the perfect armhole measurement of your abaya. So now let's get into it. I'm coming down by 7 inches and I'm just going straight. That's where I'm going to take my bust measurement from for an abaya. Remember, an abaya is a free dress, and the principle that works with a normal bodice won't work for it. That bust measurement, that first bust, that's the waist measurement, and that's the hip measurement. So the first bust measurement, I won't be using it. I'm going to be transferring my measurement to the first one. So now the next thing to do is to take your bust measurement. Our bust measurement is 36, so I'm going to be dividing, because I've already added 4 inches to it. The original one is 32, but using the new measurement is 36, adding 4 inches because I want it to be as free as possible. So all our parameters, we're adding 4 inches to it, and all those parameters will be divided by 4. So because our clothes is on 4 folds. So now the next thing to do now is, so after taking the shoulder slope, only the shoulder is divided by 2, but every other parameters along the vertical axis is divided by 4. So yes, divided by 4. So now you take the bust measurement, which is 9 inches. That's 36 divided by 4. So I'm trying to show you with the tape rule, multiplying the tape rule into 4 places to show you that it's 36 divided by 4 that I got. So that's 36, if you can see it properly. So the next thing to do is to add an inch allowance for sewing that you use in sewing. Ordinarily I will add half-inch allowance, but for this project I'm adding 1-inch allowance so that you can see properly. So now from my shoulder to 14 inches, that is where I'm going to be taking my waist measurement. That waist measurement is taken from the shoulder to just above the navel point. Another thing to note is that you replace the bust measurement. The old bust measurement is what you'll be replacing if you don't have enough, because when you wear it you don't want the waist to be tight along the bust as you wear it. So instead of using 28, I'm going to be using 32 inches, which is the original bust measurement. I'm going to be transferring it to the waist so that when I wear the clothes it passes easily around the bust. So you just use a straight line to join it. Ordinarily you should use a ruler to join it, but if you can use your free hand, why not? Just like I did, you can do that. So now the next measurement you're going to be working with is the hip measurement. The hip measurement is 40. The new hip measurement is 40 because the original hip is 36, then we added 4 inches, then that gives us 40 inches. So as you can see from my calculation, it is 40 inches. So I'm going to be taking 40 inches there. So the next thing that you want to do is to add your 1-inch allowance. Don't forget to always add allowance all around. So that's my 1-inch allowance. So from there I'm going to be connecting it all the way down. So I'm taking the gown length measurement. Then from the shoulder to the hip, I forgot to show it in this video, it is around 22 inches for this measurement. So that is where I'm taking the hip measurement from. So do well to take your measurement from the sleeve to the hip. So the gown length is 54. I'm marking the 54, but my camera didn't capture it, so I'll just let it be, but it will show it along the line. So the next thing is to join with a straight line to the end of the cloth. So you can see that the cloth comes all the way out, So now we have a dress. So the next thing that you want to do is to curve your armhole. So now that's my bust point, my hip point all the way down. I'm showing you how I connected it. So the next thing that you want to do is to give curves to where all the curves are necessary. The armhole is not a sharp edge, it is a round curve. So now the first thing you want to do is divide your armhole measurement, which is 7 inches by 2, and you mark the midpoint, that is 3.5. So from the beginning of the shoulder to that point is going to be straight, and from that point I touch, the other point I touch is going to be curved. So you can join it using a armhole curve or any curved items or your hand. So as you can see, I curved it and I went up with a straight line. So now we want to curve our necklines too. So that is the back neckline that I'm curving, as you can see, and this is the front neckline that I'm curving. The front neckline is usually deeper than the back neckline. Sometimes they might be equal, but what is most common is that the back neckline is usually higher and the front neckline is usually lower. So now let's just cut. So first you have to cut the back piece first, because the front piece has some deeper intricacies to it, which I would explain as I go. So now first cut the back piece, and you remove the armhole too. So that's it. And you cut the shoulder slope. The extra allowance I put up is just for, insurance, in case if anything is going to happen, so I can have something to fall back on. So you just cut like so, and you keep cutting till you get to the end of it. Just getting a hang of filming. I don't want to wait till I'm a pro before I start up this channel, because I figured a lot of us need it. So please forgive my excesses and forgive the way my jilbab is covering up the camera, but you can basically see what is happening there. I'm just cutting it all the way down. So now moving to the down part of the abaya, you come up by 2 inches and you mark it, because you don't want your abaya to have a sharp edge, so you give it a nice curve and then you trim it with your scissors. So now that I'm trimming, I've trimmed it. The next thing to do is to separate the front piece and the back piece from one another. Separate the front piece and the back piece, and then you deal with the front piece only. So now that's what I've just done. I separated the front piece from the back piece. So the front piece is the one I want to work with now. So now I'll give it the deeper neckline, and I'm supposed to give it a deeper armhole curve, but that is for the professional level, the deeper neckline. Then I'm supposed to give it a deeper armhole curve, but that's for a professional level. And since this is just basic and I don't want to disturb your head with a lot of things, the front armhole curve is usually deeper. This will give you a desired result, but the deeper armhole curve will give you a more desired and more fitted result. So that's that about that. So the next thing that you want to do now is to set up to cut your sleeves. So I'm going to show you the basic way to cut the sleeve, the tailor way, not the professional pattern cutting way, but these two will do and will suffice for you sewing for yourself, and even for your clients sometimes it will suffice. So the next thing you want to do is to get the armhole round. I didn't give the measurement of the armhole round here. So the armhole round for this abaya, I'm going to be using 16 because it obviously is a free dress. You want everything to be loose and not fitted. So I'm just going to leave it at 16. Ordinarily, it shouldn't be more than 14, but I'm going to be leaving it at 16. So, but before that, you want to determine your sleeve length. So first off, I'm going to give it an allowance of 1.5 inches for hemming the lower part of the sleeve, or the raw edge of the sleeves, and the sleeve length is 22 inches. So I'm just going to be marking 22.5 inch for sewing in. Then I'm going to be using my ruler to just straighten that out, so that at least I can have something to work with. Then after that, I'm going to mark my 8 inches. So I have a guideline to work with as regards my sleeve. So that is 8 inches that I'm marking. So I'm just going to mark it, go down a bit and mark it, so I have a line that I'm working with. So I'm like confined into that box, and I have to work with that box. So now I'm going back to my clothing, and I'm going to take the armhole, the exact armhole that is there, because I want my sleeves to be fitted. I don't want it to have any puff, any what have you. So taking away the 1 inch allowance, because it's going to be sewn in, so I'm going to measure what I have left. So what I have left here is about 9.5 inch, and I'll be taking half inch on the upper part. So I'm leaving my measurement at 9. So it's 9 inches that I'm going to be working around. So look at the way I'm going to work around my tape rule now. So just put your tape rule somewhere and work till you get 9 inch. See how I did it till I got 9 inches. So you saw, can you see it? So that's how I worked my way around and got 9 inches. So first off, you just give it a curve at the other end to give you like an inch allowance, and then you work a curve up like I'm doing in the video, so till I get to the edge. You see, like I said, I'm working in a box. That box, I have to like fit into that box. Whatever I do, I have to work into that box. So that's the purpose of taking your arm all round. You don't want it to be too saggy. Despite that, no, you still don't want it to be too big. So now I'm going back to the edge. I'm folding the edge over to take my sleeve round measurement. The sleeve round measurement, I didn't put it in this, but it's very important. So for these projects, the sleeve round measurement is going to be 8. I am intending to put a zipper, and I'm not be showing that in this video, but I'm intending to put a zipper. So I'm just going to make it 8 inches so that it can be a bit fitted. The zipper is for allowance for ablution, in case when you want to make ablution. So I marked 8 inches there, and I added an allowance of about an inch. So I'm coming up and I'm marking just like I would. So to straighten it out properly, I'm going to be putting my ruler just to make it properly straight. So there's a twist happening there, but my camera is not catching it, so I'm just going to explain to you as I go what the twist is. So you just cut like that. Yeah, that's you're getting your sleeve. So yes, so on getting to that place, you can remember I left an allowance for folding to make my folding easy. So it's better to fold over before you cut, so that it make folding easy and everything will rhyme. So the reason why you're doing that is, look at it now. When I fold it, all my edges will rhyme. they fall in place and they stay. So I'm pitching in 1/2 inch. That's why I took 1.5 inch. I want the raw edges to be about 1 inch, so I'm going to pinch in 1/2 inch. So I left about 1.5 inch allowance. So the next thing that you want to do is to go to your sewing machine and start by connecting the shoulders, right sides on right sides. So connecting the shoulders, so like I normally do, you would be seeing a contrasting thread because I really want you to see it. So I still have to lose it. Those are the things that I do for the videos, so I still have to do it. So you join the shoulder is the first thing that you do. You join both shoulders. So after doing that, you join the armhole. After joining the armhole, from the armpits, you connect the 2 armpits and you stitch it all the way down till you get to the floor length. Then after doing that, you hem the edges and you hem the neckline, or you put a bias binding. So I'll be back to show you what it looks like after I've sewn it. Then the same thing for the sleeves too. You first of all hem the edges of the sleeve. That's the first thing to do. Hem the edges of the sleeves first. Just makes your life easy. Pinch in 1/2 inch. Hem it, fold it over, and then take about 1 inch. The same allowance is 1 inch. Take about 1 inch in. Do the same thing for the second sleeve. Stitch it over. Then I'll come back to show you how to insert the sleeves. So now I've gone to my machine and I've sewn it. As you can see, I made use of a straight stitch and I sewed everything all the way down. So now look at it. I maintained my 1 inch allowance because I wanted my clothes to have a certain kind of fitting. That's what I wanted it to have. So now the next thing you want to do is probably go to your machine, open up your seams. This is very important, makes your clothes crispy and nice. You open up your seams and you iron, just like you can see me doing. So I opened the 2 seams. After that, you can go to your serger and serge it down. So when you iron, you just keep all your seams flat, nice, and looks a lot better. So now after ironing, the next thing you want to do is to take it to your serger and serge it, weave it all the way. I'm not going to be showing you a finished weaving. So after that, now the next thing you want to do is to insert the sleeve. So you flip your sleeve over to the right side. So you can see I use a contrasting thread to stitch that too. I might have to pull it out later and remake with a real thread. Do you understand? So you can insert a zipper too to allow ablution, to make it ablution friendly. So the next thing you want to do is to flip your sleeves inside out. Flip inside out, flip it to the right side. Then you go in from the wrong side. You're making sure that the joining of your sleeves is aligning with the armpit of your clothes. The joining of your sleeves, make sure that the joining aligns with the armpits. I paused that place so you can see it, but I don't think you can. So, but you align it with the joining of the sleeves so you can see. So those joining aligns. Then if just to be sure, you could notch your sleeve at the middle just to be sure that it is aligning with the shoulder blades too. So you do the same thing for the second one, and then you sew, and that's it. You have your abaya. So now this is I'll be showing you what the finished products looks like. So this is what the finished products looks like. I mistakenly made it inside out, which is fine because I'm still going to loosen it anyways. So you can see the chalks where I took the measurements. This chalk is supposed to be on the wrong side. So I've come to the end of this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell icon. I can't wait to see you in my next class because I have something very, very lovely to make for you. So assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for watching.